Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me now. Sorry, we're just waiting for to give everyone a chance just to join in. So saying good afternoon, evening or morning for some people who've been joining. Welcome to Arnlea's webinar, which will focus on streamlining your hazardous area inspection process. I hope you and your families are all safe and well during these unique and challenging circumstances. We can start getting back to some sort of normality soon. I'm Paul Goonan, International Business Development Manager, and I'll be hosting this webinar on behalf of the Arnlea Business Development and Account Management team. I was going to make a joke about housekeeping and fire alarms, but I'll resist and I'll not bore you all with my bad jokes. It's probably bad enough you're having to look at a picture of us all just now. Please feel free to post any questions throughout the webinar. We'll spend some time at the end, we'll go through them all. For those who are new to Zoom or new to webinars, there's a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, which will open the Q&A section and allow you to type your questions. Cameron Murray will also be on hand to answer some questions throughout, and we'll be sending you an email afterwards, so feel free to respond with any queries at that stage. Right, let's get started. I'll run through a quick presentation about us. I'll then go into our software, and as mentioned, we'll finish with a Q&A session. Arnlea Systems have been on the go for 26 years now. We're headquartered in Aberdeen, Scotland, with offices and partners globally. When we talk to potential clients, they also explain their challenges with managing their ATEX inspections. Some have spreadsheets full of information they don't know what to do with. Some have mountains of paperwork with no real audit trail, and some don't have anything at all, but they realise that they need to. That's where we can help. Our vision is to be the global leader in SaaS-delivered mobile apps for asset management efficiency to the energy industry. As you can see from some of our clients listed, we are primarily oil and gas focused, but we do have clients in other industries and sectors too. Some of these clients we work with in multiple locations on some or all of their assets globally. We are on offshore platforms, FPSOs, LNG plants, refineries, chemical plants, and distilleries, just to name a few. Our brand is Intrinsics, and we have three main product suites that sit within that brand. Intrinsics EX for EX or hazardous area inspections and maintenance, what we'll be discussing today. Intrinsics IM for more general inspections and maintenance, and Intrinsics MM for materials management. If you'd like details on any of our other products, we'd be more than happy to provide that to you. Intrinsics as a whole was developed to move away from paper-based systems. For example, when you carry out an EX inspection currently, you have to follow the paper-based inspection checklist, complete that checklist, upload that information onto the computer, maybe onto Excel, send that information onshore, and then somebody will need to then update the likes of SAP. All very time consuming and prone to error. With our software, we've streamlined that whole process. I'll now go into Intrinsics EX in a little bit more detail. Some of the benefits of using Intrinsics EX include you're increasing the efficiency of your inspectors by on average 150% from simple things like being able to carry out more inspections per shift. You're reducing your inspection campaign times by up to 50% through the application of your RBI, risk-based inspection strategy, and through inspectors being more efficient. A return on investment and payback of the system within 3 to 6 months. This was based on a case study with a client of ours, and we'd be more than happy to help calculate your own returns individually. Compliant with IEC 679 standards and ATEX directives. You have visualization of RBI alarms and thresholds for individual tags, areas, and work orders. All your data is held in one central location, which allows for multiple people to work and edit at the same time. It should be noted that it's your data. We do not hold any information ourselves, and that data belongs to you. If integrated with an ERP system, such as SAP, then you'll have accurate, reliable, real-time or batched information synchronized in and out of that system. So what does Intrinsics EX do? It manages your entire hazardous area equipment inspection process. It's capable of handling all international standards, but we primarily work to IEC 679, and that's across various mobile devices. Most of our clients use RFID tags on their equipment, which ties in nicely with our software. You simply scan an RFID tag, the equipment comes up on the tablet, you carry out the inspection, save it, and carry on to your next one. As mentioned in the benefits, the software is capable of managing RBI strategies, and it also has a brilliant web reporting tool, which allows for multiple or individual asset reporting, fault code analysis, failure trends, inspection results, and much more. I'll show you that later on in the webinar. Intrinsics EX works by using mobile devices on the field, reading the likes of RFID tags, then feeding that information into our middleware where there's a PC application, which I'll also show you. The PC application would include the web reporting and would most likely be used more by supervisors or managers. If integrated with an ERP such as SAP, then the information flows back and forth between the ERP and Intrinsics. There are many ways this process can work, and we have a team of integration specialists in-house to discuss your specific requirements. It would also be worth noting that Intrinsics works standalone too. Intrinsics works on various platforms and devices, and all of our customers are currently using Windows or Android, primarily due to the lack of Zone 1 iOS devices, although we do know of a case for iPads that do make them Zone 1, so this could always be an option. Our default hosting method is cloud-based. However, we understand that this is not suitable for all of our clients, so we're also able to deploy on-premise. The images you see are just a few of the devices we can offer, including the Bluetooth pen and RFID tags we supply that were mentioned earlier. If there are any questions at this time, please post them. We'll answer them during the Q&A session. I'll now move on to demo the software itself. I'll start off with our tablet version. I'm using just a Windows tablet for this demo, so it's an exact replica of how to look for an inspector in the field. And as mentioned, we also have other operating systems available. So this is what the, on the tablet, this is what the inspector would see. So I'll go ahead and log in. When you log in, it will always ask if you want to download the latest work. Normally in the field, you'd say yes, and that would pull the information from the middleware or the PC application and update the tablet. Just for the purpose of this demo though, I'll say no. And it will take me straight to my work orders that are associated with my tablet. So I can see my work order number, the route that relates to, the status, the work order date, the due date, what category it relates to, and how many tags I've got and how many I've completed. If I select one of the work orders, I can go into expand that information. It just gives me a little bit more details. I'll go back and I can go in and edit the work order, and this will pull up the list of tags associated with that work order. So from here, I can either search for a tag, I can search by tag description, the area it's in, or I can scan using the scan button up at the top right. I can scan an RFID tag and the piece of equipment will come up. Or if it's a small work order, you can simply scroll through it and find that information. So you can see here the grade, it's telling you visual, close, or detailed. So for example, if I select this tag here, I know that I need to carry out a visual inspection. For whatever reason, I can't access that tag, I can hit the defer button and I can select a predefined list of deferral reasons. This is totally customizable. There's a lot of our software is customizable, field names and such like, and I'll point some of them out as I go through it. But I can select here, for example, requires isolation, and then, or I can free text as well if I want. Again, this is customizable. You can enable this or disable this function and just leave the inspectors to only have the drop-down menu if you wish. I can go into the asset register here, and this will just load the register and all the information relating to the tag. Up at the top, you can see where you are through the process. So just now we're on tag information. It's got model, make, manufacturer, items like that. Onto the ATEX information, so you can see all like IP rating, temperature classes. Onto location information. Further location information, environment information, and some of the equipment information. If, for example, you didn't have a RFID tag associated to this piece of equipment, then what you can do, you can just associate the tag at this point. It's also worth noting, you can have photos and documents attached to the asset register, or at this stage, I could attach a photo. So you could have how a piece of equipment should look, and then when you're carrying out your inspection, you can have a photo of actually how it does look, so you can clearly identify the problems. You can have drawings, manuals, you can have anything that you would like attached to the asset register. If I continue with this, any custom information you may want. So I save the asset register and I'll go and carry out my inspection. So as I mentioned, it was telling me I need to do a visual inspection. For whatever reason, you can also choose detailed or close. So we'll go ahead and carry out a very quick visual inspection. Up will come the fault codes, and now all these fault codes relate to this piece of equipment. We've got two ways of showing this information. We've got what we're in at the moment, which is called check sheet mode. So I need to go through each one of the fault codes and select pass, fail, or fail fix. Or we've also got fault code mode, where it just lists all the fault codes and I simply select the failures. Again, it's totally up to our clients which one they would prefer. So if we're carrying out an inspection, you've got a green tick for pass, you've got a yellow spanner for fail fix, and you've got a red cross for fail. You can attach a photo in each fail fix or each fail. If we continue, it tells you at the bottom, there's 3 pages of the apparatus fault codes. So I'll just quickly go through these. Hope to never see anyone actually doing an inspection like this. And then we go into the installation, and again, you can see we've only got 1 page here. Pass them, and then onto the environment. Again, we've only got 2 here. So you'll then ask for a fault description. So again, it's a drop-down menu, predefined fields, totally customizable. You can have as many or as little as you want. So I can select one there. If I want to add more, I can just click on that again, and then I can select multiple, and I can continue if I want to. And again, you can free text if you want. Like the deferrals, you can enable this or disable it as you wish. Tag review comments, exactly like the fault description. I can select one, or I can go in and select multiple if I want to. And again, it allows for free text. You can attach a photo at both of these stages as well. Next, we get a summary of our inspection that's been carried out. So it's telling me I've done a visual inspection. There's been a defect found. The priority is integrity P2. That could be low, medium, high, ABC, 1, 2, 3, whatever your fault priority would be, we can have that in the software for you, and it's totally designed for yourselves. It gives you a summary of the faults, so you can see the 2 fault codes that we failed on are in here, and then the fault description and the tag review comments as well. I simply complete that inspection, and that's me finished. I can now move on to my next inspection. If I have a connection to Wi-Fi, that is a live, that automatically synchronizes back to the middleware. If I don't, what happens is, if I just open up the menu here, I can click View Inspections, and it just stores that inspections on the tablet until I get a connection, and then it can synchronize with the middleware, and if integrated with the likes of SAP, synchronize with that. You can see if I just open this up again, I can go into the asset register. So this would be more for carrying out an ad hoc inspection. So if I could walk up to a piece of equipment, I can search for it by tag number, by the area, secondary area, and like any other filters that you'd want in there, we can add in. I can scan an RFID tag, and again, that piece of equipment would come up. If I'm not connected to Wi-Fi and then I get a connection, I can then send all the work. I can also get all the work at any time. And then you can see you've got some general settings information. You can see the complex expiry, when that you were last synchronized with the middleware, and what version and reference of the tablet you're on. That's the tablet version, very briefly. I'll now move on to what we call the middleware, or the PC application, which will be more used by supervisors or managers. Good start. Here we go. So this is the boxes you'll be presented with when you log into the PC application. You'll see, if I go into Asset Register, this is just going into that, seeing all the information that you can see in the Asset Register in the tablet version, but you can just do a lot more with it in the PC application. We've got datasheet mode and form mode, two ways of viewing the same information. If I go into datasheet mode, and I'll just go into these briefly for you, and I can pull up the full asset register here. So I can see my equipment ID, the manufacturer, the model, all the ATEX information I'd have, and anything else that you'd want to see there. At this stage, if I want to see any previous inspections that have been carried out on a piece of equipment, I can click View Inspection, and it'll give me that background there. So I can see this inspection was done on this date and this time by this user. I can see the details of the inspection and the outcome. I can then click into this further. It will probably tell me it's been dealt with on a work order. Yes, so that's telling me if I need to make any changes to that, I would need to access it through the work order. But it'll still pull up the information. It gives me the fault text, the review text. It tells me all the fault codes that I've went through, the pass, fail, the fail fixes, if applicable. It gives me any verification and approval information there as well. Just come out of here. I can highlight my RBI. My data is all demo data, so it's always in a bad state. But you can see from the RBI key there, that's all the colors that would come up. So you can see my tags are all beyond the RBI window, so I should really be doing something drastic. But you can see red, for example, is decommission tags, allows regular failing tags to be highlighted, and you can take action with that from here. Inspections, so if I've carried out ad hoc inspections, this is where I can go in and check them, verify them, approve them. Handhelds is more about configuring your handheld, your tablets, assigning work orders to tablets and such like. Work orders, if I go into work orders, I can create routes, plan routes. Again, if you're not integrated with the likes of SAP, so if you're not creating your work order in SAP, you can create it here. So we'll allow for that flexibility. I can check, verify, and approve work. So I can see all my tags that are awaiting approval. It's also, I should point out that everything you do on the software is driven by user permissions. So if you don't have the permissions to do any of this, it won't let you do it. It won't even let you into these areas. So I can see that none of these have been approved. Some of them being verified. I can see who the last changes were made by, when that was done. I can see the inspection result, the date of that inspection, and I can see obviously what type of inspection was carried out. Data exchange is simply, if you're integrated with SAP, you'd have a nice green box here. There's an event log for absolutely all the information that's passed back and forth between SAP or whatever other ERP system you're using, and Intrinsics, so you can see exactly when information was passed back and forth. You can do triggered schedule imports, export data. Excel reports, and I'll go into web reporting just after this, but Excel reports, absolutely everything that you see in the software you can take out in an Excel format. So you can pull your whole asset register out. If you want to narrow it down by specific locations, you can go in and do so, and there's no limits to how much information or anything you can take out. I'll now go into the web reporting and give you a show around that. When you log into the web reporting, you'll be presented with this dashboard. So you'll see the number of inspections over a specific time period. You'll see the number of inspections that are due this month, where you are versus your target, and there's a couple of reports. So you've got your monthly inspection grade and your inspection results there. All our graphs and charts are interactive, so I can untick the ones I don't want to see. So that's me just unticking close inspections. So I can just see my detailed and my visual. I can take my pass, fail, fail, fix. I just want to see my pass and fail. I can unselect that information. If I actually dive into the reports a little bit more, you'll see down the left-hand side, this is all the reports we provide to you. You've got monthly reports there and cross-asset reporting as well. So if I go into a couple of these reports, inspections by grade, for example, you'll see this is the one from the homepage, but I can see, right, I don't want to see my close, I only want to see my detailed and my visual, and I want to do it from that date in 2018 to 2020, and it will update that chart. I can then take that information, and then I can see, right, this is updated, what's my visual inspections, I can then tick on that, and it will then provide me all the raw data which I can export to Excel. All these images can be exported as PDFs or PNG images. So I mean, I think when it comes to reporting, I know myself, when I'm having to provide management reports, it can take me a long time to get some of the information I require. Feedback from our existing clients is some of this information, having it to hand saves them countless amount of times, and it really is just to have that information at your fingertips, it's priceless. If I go into things like, so I've seen inspections by grade, I can go into inspection results, I can see my fail priority breakdown, I can see my pass, fail, fail fixes. Again, you can filter things down by dates, today, last week, last month, last year. It updates those charts, and I can see everything that I need to here. Everything you can click on and get that raw data and export that to Excel. And all, as I said, all these graphs and charts can be exported. Fault code analysis, so you can do some, you can see what fault codes are maybe regularly failing. If there's a need to action them, then you can do that quickly from here. And again, filter that down by dates. You can show your fail fixes as well, so you can see recurring fail fixes and failures. I'll go into some of the monthly reports. The main one that I love looking at is the monthly overdue backlog. So this is more about looking ahead. So if I change that date to 2022, what it'll do, it will update this chart and it'll show me all my inspections and when they're due. So I can see at the end of next year, I've got a spike of inspections in September, October, November. What I might want to do is either know that I need to get additional resources on the plant at that time, or I'll take these inspections and roll them out the months prior. And finally, cross-asset reporting. So if I just click on one of these, this is probably the worst demo ever because I don't have two assets on here, but you'll see that this is the number of equipment I've got. This is my target to date and the number of inspections I've carried out to date. So what I would have to the right of that is an exact mirror of my additional asset, and there's no limit on how many assets you can have in here. So that's the web reporting. We'll now go into the Q&A session.